The Iran Parliament voted to eject all Americans and coalition forces from the country.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Senator, anything to report? Successful dump. I dropped everything at the dump. It all worked out. And by the way, I got a second load, guys, coming. Anybody wants to help me unload? That Chuck Graham, state senator's here. Chuck, stand up. Chuck, let him see you. Oh, God love you. What am I talking about? I tell you what, you're making everybody else stand up, though, pal. Thank you very, very much. I tell you what, stand up for Chuck. My mother believed and my father believed that if I wanted to be president of the United States, I could be vice president. My mother and father believed. Look, John's last-minute economic plan does nothing to tackle the #1 job facing the middle class. And it happens to be, as Barack says, a three-letter word, jobs. J-O-B-S, jobs.
Joe, you want to administer the oath?
Am I doing this again?
For the
senior staff. All right.
A number of the cabinet members have already.
My memory is not as good as Justice Roberts, Chief Justice Roberts. Does anyone have the? No, I. And thank you, Dr. Pepper, and thank you, Chancellor, or Dr. Paper, and thank you, Chancellor. A man who will be the next president of the United States, Barack America. But the Taoiseach knows a lot about it. His mom lived in Long Island for 10 years or so. God rest her soul. And although your mom's still alive as your dad passed. God bless her soul. I got to get this straight. Now is the time to heed the timeless advice from Teddy Roosevelt. Speak softly and carry a big stick. End of quote. I promise you, the president has a big stick. I promise you.
I think the vice president very well knows that sometimes the words don't come out of your mouth the right way.
But I always say what I mean. I'm the only one that got moved to make sure that we could not have a magazine that had more than 10 rounds in it. When you register it, the likelihood of it being used diminishes exponentially. On the 17th, look, the fact that George Washington worried on the first time he spoke after being elected president, hundreds and thousands of innocent people between there and the Iraqi border. The way to deal with those guns and those AR-15s and assault weapons that are on the street, are not on the street, that people own, excuse me, in terms of foreign policy. I've never seen a time, and I spent thousands of hours in the Situation Room. What is happening in Iraq is going to, in Afghanistan, took almost a $90 billion act that kept us from going into a depression, putting us in a position where I was able to end able to end the issue of gun sales in terms of assault weapons. Well, the senator said she's being vague on the issue of, actually both of them being vague on the issue of the Medicare for all. Became very close friends with my wife, Jill. Visited our home. He was there with his children. So for God's sake, get up. Get up and remember, this is the United States of America. There's nothing we've been unable to do when we decide we're going to do it.
My name's Sitza Gofard. I'm a senior at the college, and I'm the vice president of the student body here.
Isn't that a bitch? I mean, excuse me. Why shotgun?
I think the vice president very well knows that sometimes the words don't come out of your mouth the right way.
But I always say what I mean. That if I wanted to be president of the United States, I could be vice president. I never make any big gaps. I mean, you guys love saying that about me.
But often his handsiness and comments.
No dates to your 30.
are likened to those of a crazy but lovable uncle. But as they veer toward the more bizarre variety, it's raising questions about appropriate behavior for someone eyeing the White House.
So earlier this week, Biden publicly used the term Shylocks in reference to aggressive money lenders. But it's a word considered anti-Semitic, a reference to a ruthless Jewish lender in Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice.
He said in the first 100 days, he's going to let the big banks once again write their own rules. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains. In Delaware, the largest growth in population is Indian Americans moving from India. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
Once again, the curse of Biden strikes.
I've gotten to know you well enough. You want me to stop because I'm embarrassing you.
Pardon me?
Every 10 minutes there's a shift in sort of what the strategy is again.
Who gives a It's a large, very identifiable Somali community. There's an awful lot who are driving cabs and are friends of mine, for real. I'm not being solicitous. I'm being serious.
Only 15 Somalis live in the entire state, according to the Census Bureau. And Wilmington cab drivers told CNN they knew of no Somalis driving taxis.
The vice president called the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi today to clarify remarks he made last week during a forum at Harvard.
Our biggest problem is our allies. Said, Jill, if there's ever a problem, just walk out on the balcony here or walk out, put that double-barrel shotgun and fire 2 blasts outside the house. All this stuff about how different Barack Obama is. They're just not used to somebody really smart. They're just not used to somebody who's really well educated. They just don't know quite how to handle it. Because if he's as smart as Barack is, he mustn't be from my neighborhood. His mom lived in Long Island for 10 years or so. God rest her soul. And although your mom's still alive as your dad passed. God bless her soul. A man who will be the next president of the United States, Barack America. It happens to be, as Barack says, a 3-letter word, jobs. J-O-B-S, jobs. Now is the time to heed the timeless advice from Teddy Roosevelt. Speak softly and carry a big stick. End of quote. I promise you, the president has a big stick. Buy a shotgun. Buy a shotgun.